Qué largo que me quedó llegar desde el fondo. ¿Cómo venimos? ¿Venimos bien? ¿Estamos cansados? ¿Estamos absorbiendo un montón de información? ¿Hacemos una ola? Quiero que nadie se quede dormido. Le vamos a dar la bienvenida. Les pido que tengamos paciencia y disculpas por no haber conseguido la traducción en simultáneo. La verdad es que se nos hizo bastante cuesta arriba con eso. Para el próximo evento no faltará. Así que les pido la bienvenida para... ¿Dónde estás? Perdí a Garett. Ah, está acá. You are here. Yes. I want to introduce you to Garett. He's going to tell you amazing things about Blackberry. When he finishes.
Buenos dias. This is my first time in Buenos Aires. I do not speak much more Spanish than you've already heard, so my apologies to again. I plan on learning it very soon because it seems like everywhere Blackberry is sending me nowadays, everyone speaks Spanish, and probably be a good tool to have. So yeah, I'm going to be talking a bit about building for Blackberry's platform. So just a little bit of background on myself. I started working for Blackberry just over 5 years ago, just celebrated my 5-year anniversary. So I've seen a big change over the years in how Blackberry handles developers in general, as well as our overall developer approach. So we started off with a very somewhat closed ecosystem where basically you had one approach, which was developing using Java to develop your application for Blackberry. We then saw the emerging presence of HTML5 and offered an approach for web developers to develop applications for Blackberry OS. So this kind of took us through to Blackberry OS 7.1, which was the previous generation of devices. Come January of this year, we publicly announced Blackberry 10. And with Blackberry 10, there's a whole new approach to developing applications. Now this started well before Blackberry 10 was actually announced. About 6 months prior to Blackberry 10 actually coming out into the market, what we started doing was seeding out developer devices to our developer community. So we started handing out devices, we started handing out SDK, our development tools, and we started engaging developers with a whole new approach than we had previously. And the result of that was a completely open, very rich ecosystem for developing applications for Blackberry. So when you're looking to develop an application for Blackberry, the first thing you do is you choose an approach. What you as a developer feel comfortable coding. So chances are, if you've developed code, if you've written any lines of code, you probably have code that runs on Blackberry 10. So Blackberry 10, as you can see up here, choosing your approach, we've got native on the far right-hand side, which would be your C, C++. Then we move on to HTML5. You also have access to AIR, so anyone that's done the ActionScript development can develop applications in AIR. And finally, Android. And the reason why I have all these up here, and none of these are specifically tied to Blackberry, is because each of these has an approach available on Blackberry 10. So with C, C++, we have a native SDK development environment, and we also have lots of open source libraries, UI frameworks, so that if you're a game developer, if you have use of any third-party rendering libraries, you can bring those over to Blackberry. If you use, if you're more of a web developer, you want to do HTML5 development, then you can use what we call our WebWorks platform. Now, there has been a shift recently where we've actually moved from using our own WebWorks APIs, and we're going to be shifting everything over to using Apache Cordova. It's kind of following the same open approach that we're using for the rest of the system, in that if you're developing, you want to use everything as standard-based as possible. Basically meaning that your application code is portable, you can write once, compile from multiple platforms, and we're really happy to be able to give that approach to you as a developer. Same thing that goes with ActionScript. Adobe Air applications, you can write your application once, have it run on Blackberry, as well as on multiple different platforms. And finally, Java. If you've developed an application for Android, we do have our full out runtime. This is not an emulator, this is a full JVM runtime, Android runtime, on Blackberry 10. Meaning that if you have an application that you've written for Android and you want to see how well it runs on Blackberry 10, you want to open up your audience to a whole new set of users, all you have to do is very easily take your APK file, repackage it, and see how it runs on Blackberry. Very, very simple process. We actually have a full online web process to handle this for you. So you don't even have to worry about downloading any kind of tools. It's all done very quickly, and it'll tell you how compatible your Android application is as well. Now, of course, it wouldn't be complete unless we had our own UI framework offering. And that is where we come in with Cascades. So Cascades, if anyone has seen Blackberry 10 in action, if you've seen a Blackberry 10 commercial, you've seen Cascades. Cascades is our own unique user engagement UI framework, which we offer out to our developers. It gives you lots of advantages. It gives you the native look and feel natively on the device. So a lot of the features, a lot of the flow that you see when you're using a Blackberry device going into native applications, a lot of that is powered by Cascades. Cascades is a full UI framework, but it's actually based on another open source project known as Qt, or Qt. So Qt was developed back, if you've developed any for Nokia devices, you may be familiar with Qt, so there's lots and lots of support out there for the underlying framework, and the UI is actually very, very easy to get up and running to use. Now, a few years ago when I started, we had no relationship with Git. We did not have any open source projects, and we really were lacking on the sample front. If you fast track to today, if you go to our GitHub repository, github.com/Blackberry, we now have 82 repositories, and this is as of last night, so there could be more today, and 422 sample applications. So our repositories go from everything from hosting sample applications, and when I say they host one sample applications, they host a whole stock of sample applications, to open source frameworks. So, I was talking earlier about the native SDK. If you developed an application for iPhone using Cocos 2D, we have a full support, integrated support for Cocos 2DX on Blackberry 10. So basically what happened was our developers saw the desire from our developer community to develop applications using Cocos 2D. So we took the repository from Cocos, we added in Blackberry support, baked it right into the Cocos 2D platform, and then upstreamed it back to Cocos. So it's not just about offering you sample applications, repositories, and libraries on our GitHub page. It's about contributing those open source contributions back to the community. So meaning that if you're downloading your library straight from the company that developed it, you're going to have a more likely chance of having support for Blackberry 10 built right into that without having to go to our GitHub repository, download the library yourself, recompiling, or worrying about porting it. So it's been a huge commitment to our developer community to continue this contribution. And send the open source libraries that you'd like to see. We're constantly working with third parties to kind of bring those over to our platform, make it as easy as possible for you to code in whatever language that you're familiar with and develop applications that take full advantage of the Blackberry platform. As you can see here, we've got 422 sample applications, which spread the entire developer approach. So whether you're developing in Air, native, Cascades, you name it, we have tons of sample applications that show you just about everything from how to get started to more advanced features on the platform as well. And we've taken this approach even further. So if you look at something like analytics, analytics is something that many developers become very passionate about. You don't want to move to a new platform, have to learn a new analytics service, have to reintegrate with new APIs, you have to understand how they work, how they feel. And then you have to have a new dashboard where basically just your Blackberry 10 applications would be displayed. So instead of forcing our developers to focus in on a specific analytics service for our platform, instead we took a different approach. We took a step back and we said, if developers want to use Flurry, they should be able to use Flurry. They shouldn't have to rely on us to contribute, create APIs. They're going to force you to use a different service altogether. If you've already got applications on other platforms that are using these services, chances are you want to stay with one dashboard, display all that data in one spot. So instead of creating BlackBerry-specific APIs, we partnered with analytics providers. We worked with them very closely, and we brought over their services to BlackBerry 10. So in the case of Flurry, we worked very close with them for a few months, got their analytics service brought over to BlackBerry, and we got it in such a state that you can integrate that with your application in under 2 minutes. 2 minutes being on the high end. So basically, you take Flurry, you integrate with your application, within 2 minutes, you start sending events up to your dashboard. Whether it's an existing dashboard or a new account, you get those data in very, very quickly. Countly is another great example. Our evangelists out in Europe worked with the developers of Countly, which is a completely open source client and server-based analytics service. So if you have your own server, you can actually download Countly, Countly's open source server, install that on your server, and post all of the data analytics yourself. So this is a great option if you do have that service. They also have a hosted service, and they support both native and web developers. Localytics is another major one. They have an HTML5 service that has been brought over to BlackBerry 10. The really neat story behind Localytics is that they've actually had an HTML5 solution for a bit. It's been out there on their website. So what happened was, just recently, less than a month ago, one of the main web developers for BlackBerry on the developer relations team came over to me and said, "Hey Garrett, have you heard about Localytics? They've got an HTML5 solution. I'm just wondering, have we talked to them? What's going on?" And I said, "No, I haven't actually heard from them before in the past." So he said, "Okay, well, I'm going to try and see how this works." So he took Localytics' HTML5 library, brought it over to our HTML5 developer tools, and with only one small change, he was able to get their full API set working on our platform. So that's just kind of a testament to how great the fact of being open, an open platform, and supporting open standards like HTML5 can be to you as a developer. You don't have to worry about learning all sorts of neat little gotchas that may exist on other platforms. When we're committed to standards, a lot of these things are just going to be given to you for free out of the box. So I guess the next question you may have is, how well has it worked for us? Well, if we take a look at app availability for various storefronts, various platforms, based on the time they launched and a 4-month period after they launched. You notice that we got Amazon in the lead. So they started, it looks like around 4,000 apps when their Amazon devices first came out. Apple, Windows, Nokia, and Android are on the list as well. And you can see them all kind of a steady increase there as they start to approach 10,000 at the high end. So that's a lot of applications just 4 months in for a new platform. It's not bad to have that many applications in there. But then when you compare that to BlackBerry, and this is starting January 30th up till the end of May. We take this graph and we want to actually show BlackBerry on it. You see that all the other lines basically look flat. So with BlackBerry, we started out when we launched January 30th with 70,000 applications that supported BlackBerry 10 in our App Store. Just 4 months later, we had over 50,000 more applications added to our platform, giving us a total of 120,000 apps, and that's as of just over a week ago. So chances are we're probably over a few thousand higher than that already. So as you can see, within the next while, this is going to continue to grow. Our developer ecosystem continues to improve. We continue to add support for more platforms, more libraries, more samples, and our developer base continues to grow as well as we expand that out. So one of the important things that was talked about in the earlier presentation by Facebook is how do you keep your application, how do you get your application noticed? How do you make sure that your application doesn't get lost? If you put a lot of work, a lot of effort into developing a quality application, the last thing you want to do is put it up in the BlackBerry World store and not have anyone find it. So we saw this issue before BlackBerry 10 came out, and saw a huge need to create some sort of way to really promote your application. If you've got a quality application, users need to be able to know that it's a quality application. So what happened was we brought in the Built for BlackBerry certification program. Basically what this does is it takes any application that you have, it's a completely free program, you can submit it to our certification team to be certified, to be qualified as a certified built for BlackBerry application. Now, what does that entail? Now, if your application is certified as built for BlackBerry, it means that it's got user benefits, meaning that it's not just a well-built application, but that it's fun for the user to use. It's easy for them to use, it's intuitive, they get good quality for what they're downloading, and it's really going to give them a good user experience. As well, the performance has got to be there. So they do run a whole battery of tests on the application on various different regions to make sure that it's working as expected on the device. So performance is there, service integration. Service integration is a major feature on BlackBerry 10. We have what's called the invocation framework. And basically what this framework lets you do is connect your application to any other application on the device, and likewise, lets other applications connect with your application to really give the user that service integration without having to jump in and out of your application. So this kind of goes as light as being able to invoke the web browser, and as deep as launching Twitter actually into your application and posting feedback automatically to updating BDM statuses. So you really get that viral integration natively on BlackBerry 10, but you can also use this to your advantage and really tailor the experience to give your users really great functions within your application. Security, anyone that's ever heard BlackBerry in the news knows that security is kind of our forefront selling feature. So these applications need to be able to be secure. They're qualified so that users who download these applications know that if they're requesting certain permissions, they're not going to be misused. They're not going to be, the application is going to be misbehaving, and it's not going to do anything malicious with the user data. And then there are also some special qualifications for game, because of course the game, you're not going to want to follow the same UI paradigm as used by native applications on the device. So some of those things don't translate quite over. So with game, basically your user benefits, your security, and performance are the major features for qualifying for built with BlackBerry. As you might see in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the little BlackBerry logo, a small portion of BlackBerry logo with the page flipped up. When you qualify for built with BlackBerry, you get permission to use this graphic in your application icon on BlackBerry 10. So when a user is searching BlackBerry World, they can see various icons on there for all the different applications they can download. When they see these icons, this icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your icon, they know that you've developed a quality application, and that tells them that they can download your application, and if they have to pay for it, they're going to get good quality for what they're paying for it, and if it's a free application, they know it's going to handle their data appropriately. Supported platforms for built for BlackBerry. In order to kind of ensure a level of quality, we've decided that in order to qualify for built for BlackBerry, you have to use either Cascade, develop a web application using our HTML5 web platform, native, C++, or using Adobe Air. So if you're familiar with any of those technologies, you can develop an application and you can have it fully built for BlackBerry certified, get that icon at the bottom right-hand corner of your application, and start receiving the benefits of being built for BlackBerry. Now, talked a lot about hypotheticals, just kind of high level, this is what you can get with built for BlackBerry, this is what it means to the end users, but how does that translate to real numbers? Well, looking at Space TV, which was developed by someone that had never developed for BlackBerry before in the past, they created Space TV as a way for any space geeks, space nerds out there to get all the information that they need to about space. This has got daily pictures from the Hubble telescope, all sorts of information that's going on in space exploration, space experimentation. And when it first came out, it was a really, really cool app, really neat user interface, really great experience. And it was one of the first ones to be certified built for BlackBerry. After it received built for BlackBerry certification, it saw a 300% increase in user activity. So user downloads, user engagement, user adoption of the application. This application has also received 4.5 out of 5-star rating on the BlackBerry World Store. So the built for BlackBerry certification actually translates over to real-life user reviews of the application as well. So it's a testament to show that the certification program does result in better user experiences altogether. Overall, built for BlackBerry applications see a 139% increase in paid downloads, 39% increase in free downloads, and 116% increase in daily revenue. So this is a huge jump. If you go develop your application and you can add a few more features in there, you can make it more performant, you can make it run better, and you can get that built for BlackBerry certification, it really opens up your revenue stream and will provide much better user engagement. So the team that does the performance testing will actually go through it and make sure that they're getting the quality feedback that the users will expect. And using that, you can kind of test out to make sure that your application is going the way you expect it to. So as far as current benefits go, in BlackBerry World, if you haven't seen it, there's what's called the carousel on the main page, which is a big featured section. And all of the featured applications, you can swipe through and see all these. The first thing the user sees when they open BlackBerry World, the application on the device, as well as our web portal. And built for BlackBerry applications will get priority placement in the carousel. So when the user launches BlackBerry World, your application or built for BlackBerry application is going to be one of the first things they see. It's going to get much more increased discoverability. With all our marketing events, we have this big board that we bring out, which has all lists of about 30 to 40 built for BlackBerry applications out there. And it really opens up the ability for users to just go there, see the app icon, they can actually tap on it, and using NFC, they will get it downloaded through the application. Our developers have a reward program known as BlackBerry Jam Zone Rewards. You get rewards for things like posting in the forums, for writing sample applications. As well, if you are certified for BlackBerry, built for BlackBerry, you get a bonus 1,000 reward points. And these reward points can be redeemed for things like conference passes, BlackBerry swag, all these things you can order right from the BlackBerry Jam Zone Rewards site. So 1,000 points is a fair amount. It translates very well and will really get you close to possibly a trip to BlackBerry Jam developer events. And then as well, there's going to be much more marketing put behind BlackBerry 10 built for BlackBerry applications moving forward. We've already got 120,000 applications. Now we want to get many more quality applications. So it's really a strive for quality and ensuring that our developer community gets the support they need from our developer relations team, which is myself, as well as Fernando, your developer relations correspondent here in Argentina. And also make sure that our users are going to get a quality experience they want from an application. So it's really going to help your application stand out entirely. Moving forward, there are much more plans for the Built for BlackBerry certification program. Things like regional Built for BlackBerry top lists. Basically, if you're in Buenos Aires, you probably don't really care about the weather in North America. So if there are applications that are built for BlackBerry, that are weather applications, chances are you want to see something more localized to your area. So in that case, you're going to have a regional list, so you're going to get things that are more context sensitive to the users in your area. Again, built for BlackBerry, when you're doing searches either on the web or within the handheld client, you'll get priority placement in the search results. So all these things, marketing, that are really going to help promote your applications and get them into the user's head as the application for whatever you're developing. Earlier I talked about some of the qualification criteria for qualify for Built for BlackBerry. It has to be integrated, it has to be performant, it has to have a good user experience. If you'd like to join me at 1410, I'm going to be developing an application in front of you, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to qualify and hit most of those qualification points. So it's called an app in 60 minutes, but really what we're going to do is I'm going to be talking for about 40 minutes, coding along, and the application itself is going to take between 15-20 minutes to do the coding. But we're going to take you from an introduction to BlackBerry 10 development and show you some of the tips and tricks. So if you've never touched BlackBerry 10 development, I'm going to show you how easy it can be to create an application. If you have developed in BlackBerry 10, I'll show you some of the tips and tricks to get more quality out of your application. And for any of you that are having trouble understanding English, we'll have Fernando there as well, who will be doing live translations into Spanish for you all. So by the end of this session, we will have an integrated, social, and we will have a beautiful BlackBerry 10 Cascades-based application. And I don't want to brag or anything, but we're actually going to show you how you can integrate sharing with applications like Facebook, Twitter, BBM, with 0 lines of code. We're going to show you how the BlackBerry Cascades application framework actually integrates with the device and services on the device to give you that sharing, that deep integration with all of those native applications and third-party applications on the device without actually having to specifically put that code in your application. But we're also going to show you how you can add code to target certain applications on the device a little bit closer. Okay, that's about all I have for me. All right, so my name is Garett. Like I said, at 2:10, there's a full workshop. I'd love to see any of you out there. We'll have a Q&A session, full Q&A after the application is developed, if anyone has any questions. And as well, Fernando and myself will be hanging around here after the presentation, so if anyone has any